Okay, Shulam Aleichem, everybody. We're starting a brand new Masechta. It's very, very exciting. After 49 days of Masechtas Shavuos, we are at the cusp of a brand new Masechta, which gives us a Eschatshus, renewal. And the name of the Masechta is Masechtas Avodah Zarah. Now, the truth is that Masechtas Avodah Zarah really seems to be out of place. It should really be in Masechtas. It should be in Seder. It should be in Seder. Which Seder should it be in? It's not in Seder, it's in Seder Nezikin. What is Masechtas Avodah Zarah doing in Seder Nezikin? No, it's a good shaila, no? Why is it in Seder Nezikin? It's, in Shulchan Aruch, the Dinei Masechta Avodah Zarah is in Yoredeya. It's Isur Veheter. As, lama ze beseder Nezikin? Seder Nezikin is a oisik b'nyonych oishe mishpat.
It should be in Zerayim, what should be.
So, it should be.
It's still Din and Pasha.
It's Din and Nefashes. Aha. Okay, Reb Shol already learned ganz Masechtas Avodah Zarah. I can't speak for the Masechta in the future. What's going to happen tomorrow, I don't know. I can only speak to the name so far. So, he brings over here in the bottom, he says, and it's really the top Tosfos. Top Tosfos, mamish, before we even begin, the Fnei Yidei, and Tosfos says that the reason why we bring Avodah Zarah over here is because in the end of Sanhedrin, we talk about Oived Kechavim Mazalos. So that's like a stream of consciousness. Tosfos says, Tanu Nami Lo Odom Masechta Avodah Zarah B'Seder Yeshuos. It's in Seder Nezikin. Makkas and Shavuos is in between Sanhedrin and Avodah Zarah. Tosfos says that's because it's shaykh from Masechta Sanhedrin, because it's dinim of the Sanhedrin, giving malchus, making a shvu and bezdin. So then afterwards it comes back to Avodah Zarah, which is picking it up from Sanhedrin, which talks about Avodah Zarah. Okay, so that is basically why Avodah Zarah is here, and with that we begin the Mishnah of Lefnei Ideyen Shel Oivdei Kechavim Shloisha Yomim, before the Chagim of Oivdei Kechavim. Oivdei Kechavim are literally, what it means Oivdei Kechavim is, they serve the stars. Mamash Avodah Zarah. So 3 days before they have a holiday of their Avodah Zarah, you're not allowed, also losses velosses imoyim, you're not allowed to do business deals with them. Lahashilon, to lend them chafetzim, velishol mehen, lahalvoison, velilvus mehen, lepoiron, to pay back a choiv, velifroya mehen. Yeah? You're not allowed to do that. And Rabbi Yehuda Omer nifroim mem neshemeitzer uloi, because it's a tsar if you force him to pay back a loan. It's not always pleasant. Amr Eloi. That's Rabbi Yehuda. Amr Eloi, chamsen av shemeitzer achshav sameich ulachar zman. Even though right now it's not good, but sameich ulachar zman, a couple days later he says, Baruch Hashem, I already paid up my choiv and he's sameach. So what's the problem with being sameach? What's the problem with making a goy happy? Yeah? So Rashi says, Mamish, the first Rashi in the Masechta, he's going to thank the Avodah Zarah for the good fortune that happened to him. Oh, Mamish just started, doctor. So Masechta Avodah Zarah here. There's a Masechta Avodah Zarah right here. I took the. I think this might be yours.
No, it's not mine.
No? Okay.
I'm waiting for it to come in.
Okay, Mitzvah Hashem. It's gonna come in. Okay. Yeah. So here we have the Mishnah. We just said halacha that you're not allowed to do business, or you're not allowed to lend them stuff, lend them money, right? All those things, because we don't want them to be happy and then go thank his Avodah Zarah. Okay. Says the Gemara like this: Rav u'Shmuel, Machloikis Rav and Shmuel. Chatoni Eideyen with an aleph, the Chatoni Eideyen with an ayin. So, Mandatoni Eideyen Lamishtabish, Mandatoni Eideyen Lamishtabish. It doesn't matter how you spell it, each one has.
Doesn't matter, it relates the same thing.
Same thing, each one has a source, a makor from Tanakh. Mandatoni Eideyen Lamishtabish, Tichsiv. It says in the Pasuk, Kikorov Yoim Eidam. Yoim Eidam, Eid means a shever, it breaks them, because that is ultimately going to be their downfall. So the Eid, whatever they're celebrating with Avodah Zarahs, that's eventually going to lead to their downfall. That's what's called the Eidam. Mandatoni Eidayin with the Ayin. Yeah, loy mishtab is also not making a mistake. Chsiv yitnu eideyem v'yitzdaku. The edus that they're giving on the Avodah Zarah, right? Yitzdaku is going to be matzdik them in din.
It will judge them.
Yeah.
That's going to be the downfall, the judgment on them.
Their testimony in Avodah Zarah is not going to... Right now the Gemara is assuming it's bitmiyah. Yitnu eideyem. They're going to give testimony that their God, their Avodah Zarah, is legit. V'yitzdaku, and that's going to justify their actions. That's how the Gemara understands the pasuk now. So either way, the word eideyem can be spelled with a aleph and with a ayin. Why Taka doesn't he learn a dayan with an ayin? If a dayan with an ayin has a source, why does he learn a dayan with an ayin? Maybe he came just in time. We started Masechta.
All right.
Avodah Zarah. Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah. One of your favorites.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
You know, like a guy asks you, "What are you doing these days?" I'm doing Avodah Zarah. Mandatoni Eideyim. We just had a halach in the Mishnah just before you walked in. That you're not allowed to do business with a goy 3 days before their holiday.
Right,
Because they're going to go thank their God in 3 days' time on their good fortune because they borrowed something from you. They have extra chafetzim or you lent the money.
Xmas, yeah.
Oh. Yeah, the shaila is if Christianity is real Avodah Zarah. There's a big machlokes about that. Depends what kind of Christianity, what kind of... Depends if... Talk about that, yeah.
נכון שהוא אמר כאן בתמיהה, הצדיקו בדין, אבל הוא אומר, מאחר שעבודת כוכבים, after all, עבודת כוכבים is going to תעיד על עובדיה. I mean, the person you're going to see is worshiping the עבודה.
Yeah.
אז העבודה עצמה, she's like, everything we do, כל דבר שאנחנו עושים,
Yep.
you know, is made
it's going to be middling. Okay, we'll get there. Very good. That's very powerful stuff.
אז זה מה שהוא אומר.
Aha.
אז הוא אומר, עבודת כוכבים תעיד על עובדיה.
We're going to see that. Yeah, the Gemara is going to get there.
נתן את חגיהם עדיהם.
The Gemara is going to get there, Abshal. Very good. Very good. The Gemara is going to absolutely get there. The Gemara is going to talk about that shot in a moment. But right now, the Gemara is saying, Yitnu eideyan v'yitzdaku, just if they bring their avodas kechavim, their edus, you think that that's going to help them to be zoicha, to be tzaddik, to be righteous, badin, it's not going to help them. So Gemara says, "Mandatoni edein, my time latoni edein." If you learn a day with the aleph, why don't you learn a day with the ayin? Amar loch. So I'll tell you, tavra odif. I prefer to using a word
שבר.
that's loshen shever, that means downfall, when I refer to Avodah Zarah. When I refer to Avodah Zarah, I would rather use the name Adam with an aleph because that refers to their downfall. That's tavra, that's shever. Mandatoni edein, my tamalatoni, a day with an aleph. But it's not a good reason, and he also has a pasuk to back him up. So why does he learn it with an ayin? Amalach, my kigorim lu tavra. What cause and effect? What leads to their downfall? Edus sheidu ba'atzman. The edus, yeah.
In Arabic, the Arabs call the chag, eid, imayin, eid.
Where really?
Eid. Yeah, ayin yudalin, eid.
Who calls that?
Arabs.
They actually call that?
Yeah, eid al-iftar, eid al-zeh.
Hey, say it again. How do you pronounce?
eid al-iftar, eid, chad.
Chad, lo shechad.
אבל בעין, לא באלף.
That's what somebody said. Aza is Gaza. Lama? Because Aza.
זה לא, זה רז, זה רז. זה לא עזה, זה רז.
What is it called Gaza if it's Aza?
זה לא, it's רפוי. זה עין רפויה.
It's guttural. It's
זה רז.
guttural because
You know, גימל.
What does it sound like? What does it mean guttural? It sounds like...
It's not for Ashkenazi.
people when they have different,
yeah, Ashkenazi can't do it. It's like a guy can't pronounce a ches.
Why they call Palestinians? There's no letter P in the Arabic alphabet.
I don't know Arabic, so is it really true? There's no P in
Yeah,
the
no,
alphabet.
there's no P in Arabic. No.
The Palestinians, it doesn't make any sense. It's all a fallacy. The Palestinians.
Palestinian.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
But you know.
But your point is that in Arabic they refer to it as like
Eid.
Eid. Okay, so the Maisa it could be it's like the Mandoma that says Eid with an ayin.
I think this will come from.
Yeah, very interesting. Okay, so the Gemara says Vahai Yitnu. Oh, so in other words, their Eidas that they're made on themselves when they're serving Avodah Zarah, that Eidas itself is going to bring about their downfall. Ask the Gemara, really? This is talking about Oivdei Kechavim? Hab Yisrael Ksiv. It's from Yisrael. The Omer Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Kol mitzvos. She Yisrael oisim bo'ilam hazeh. Any mitzvah, all mitzvahs, not just, this is what he said. Boys from Idislam no'ilam haba. Shenemer yitnu eideyem v'yitzdaku elu Yisrael. That's Klal Yisrael. It means what? That the mitzvahs that they do will come and testify on their behalf. La'olam haba. When their neshama comes up to olam haba. So the Mashal says, the Mashal tells to the Gemara, Mashal over here says, what does it mean that the mitzvahs come and testify? Because we know that every mitzvah creates a malach, it creates a spiritual energy. And that malach is chai v'kayim la'olam v'ed. That's born out of your action. You came to the daf tonight, we're opening a Gemara, we're creating malachim. These malachim are going to give testimony after 120. La'olam haba. Gam lahavdil of avdalas. Yeah, we have kategorim. We also have kategorim, not just anegorim. And Yishmu v'yoyim ru'emes. What does it mean at the end of the pasuk? Yishmu, who's going to listen? Who's going to hear it? Elu oivdei kechovim. They're going to hear the eidos that the mitzvahs testify on Klal Yisrael, and they're going to say, wow, Klal Yisrael is correct. So this eidos that we're talking about in the pasuk is not referring to oivdei kechovim at all. So how could the Tan in our Mishnah, or how could the Tan of the Brisa say, oh, I learned in the Mishnah a dain with an ayin? Why? Because I have this pasuk. This pasuk is talking about a yid. It's not talking about a guy. He has a different pasuk. How do you know Edain with an ayin is referring to Avodah Zarah? Because it says Yoitzrei Pesel Kulam Toyu V'chamudeim Bal Ya'ilu V'Edeim Heimo. Those who are crafting, they're sculpting these psolim, these statues, Kulam Toyu, they're empty. V'chamudeim Bal Ya'ilu, it's not going to help them. V'Edeim Heimo, and they are their eidos. Right? They're going to be made on their servers that they served Avodah Zarah. Unbelievable. Yeah? I'm trying to remember a pasuk in Mishlei Shlomo Melech says that the chet itself punishes you. Like it's not just that it gives edus. Schar mitzvah and avera is avera. Like the avera itself, that energy that's created from your action, that itself punishes you. The Marsha in the Gemara, I believe it's in Shabbos or in Brochus. I don't remember where it is. Maybe we can ask the Rav over here. Gemara says that kalaboli toer, right? Misayayin oisay, misayayin beyadai. So the Mashal asks, Morid Gekasha, he asks, haboli toer is singular, right? One individual comes to be Matar himself, right? And then it says misayayin plural, right? Beyadai. Misayayin, who's misayayin? It's Messiah, right? Messiah beyond, like the Messiah is like the Rebbeinu Shloim, right? Why is it Messiah? So Mashal says, because when you are Bali Toher, that Machshava creates a Malach. It creates another Malach. Those Malachim themselves end up assisting you, right? It's like a mitzvah gereres mitzvah. That's what it means. That you do one mitzvah, you create a Malach. And that Malach assists you. And, right.
It's like the Gemara Sanhedrin, right? With the scales.
The what?
You have to view the world, right?
Chetzi chai v'chetzi zaka, and your action is going to tip the scales.
It's also now with the big yavos. Mitzvah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives the person the schar of mitzvah to do another mitzvah. So
very good. That's a schar of a mitzvah to be able to have an opportunity to do another mitzvah. Okay, Mo, your mama just came in a new masechta. Oh, you brought a shavuos from home?
Yeah, we finished by late today.
Wow. Okay. We're set.
Like grab me and show it and let me leave.
Oh. Okay. This is an unbelievable Gemara. You came just in time, Mo. You came just in time for this following Gemara. This statement of Rabbi Chanina bar Papa. Dorash Rabbi Chanina bar Papa v'temer Reb Simloi. La'osid lovoi. Maybe HaKadosh Baruch Hu Sefer Torah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to bring a Sefer Torah. He's going to put it in his lap. And he says, anybody who learned Torah should come and take their reward. They're all mixed up and they're coming in a mixture, right? The Romans, the Persians, everybody's coming all together. Hashem said, don't come in barbuvia elo tikone is called uma v'sefreo shenemar v'yosfu le'umim ve'eloim elo malchus shenemar le'oim milo'oim yamot. So the uma means the malchus, the kingdoms of the different times in history. Each one is going to be judged separately. In other words, they're coming to take their schar. mechutzafim, right? They're going to come. Hashem says, here's Sefer Torah. Ever kept the Torah? Come take schar. And they're running. It's usually like that, right? The people who least deserve it try to get it first, yeah? Freeloaders. So the Gemara says, why does the Kadosh Baruch Hu mind if the Romans and Persians are mixed up? Yeah, he does. Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't know.
The king, nobody
knows.
comes like a shuk to the king.
Oh, okay, that's one teretz. It's very nice. Gemara says, Elo, it's not for Hashem, it's for them, for themselves. So that they can listen to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to each of them. So if they're together, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, let's say, speaks all together at once to everybody, they're not going to grasp it. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for them, wanted them to be able to listen to what he says to each one of them. So miyad nichnas elafan of Malchus Rei metchila. First kingdom is Rome. Vatican, Rome, gewaltig geschrikken. Yeah, Rome was an empire, world empire for 800 years, right? It was conquered in the year 410 and 455. By the year 455, it's the Vandals and the Visigoths. There was
Vandals, what, the German tribes? What is
Vandals. No, the Vandals and the Visigoths. They were called the Vandals. They vandalized Rome, and then the Visigoths, and then Rome in 455 was completely overtaken after an 800-year-long empire. So Rome was tremendous power of its time, and they entered first. My timer. Why did Rome enter first? Because that is, in history, Rome is the most chashav of Malchus. Very prestigious. How do we know that they're so prestigious? That they're going to be able to consume and really destroy. Huh?
Use the word devour.
Devour the entire earth. And Rabbi Yochanan said, who is this pasuk in Daniel referring to? This is the evil kingdom of Rome, that its name became famous in all of the world. So what if they're the most important, the most prestigious? How do we know the most prestigious enters first? Whenever there's a judgment to be had, you have the melech sitting in the waiting room together with a bunch of other people. How do you know the melech is first? The melech of tzibur, even if there's a crowd, a community, and a melech are waiting, melech nicht chiladin. Shenemar las is mishpat avdoi shleim melech mishtam Yisrael. Yisrael is after the melech. But time amai. Why tak is the melech nechnas tchila? Why is the pasuk put the melech first? Iboy seima lav oirich arel amesav malka meavroi. It's not the proper way to have a king sitting and waiting outside in the waiting room until the tzibur is done. Huh? They're what? Derech Eretz. That's right. Okay, so before, if Hashem judges the tzibur first, so I guess person's tolerance level goes down, right? He hears another crime. By the time he gets to the last guy, the judge is like, okay, you're 36 years in prison for like a minor offense. So here, if the melech is at the end after the tzibur, so the melech Nebuchadnezzar, right, is going to get the full brunt of the judge's anger. So that's why we put the individual first and then the tzibur. So now we know why Rome enters first. So Hashem said to him,
the king enters first and then the tzibur, or was it that they sent a representative to represent the nation?
Tzibur is what?
Was it the tzibur sent a representative, like a melech of the nation, to represent them, or is it that?
No, there are two different court cases. Melech and tzibur. Who goes first? Yeah. Hashem said to the Romans, you showed up first to my door. You want to collect reward. What'd you do? We built a lot of markets. A lot of bathhouses.
G7, G8.
Oh, G7, G8. We had a lot of kesef azov. Such I can't even digest this Gemara. The lie. Kulam Yisrael elo b'shvil Yisrael.
It's America.
Huh?
It's America.
No, I don't think so.
It's America. Why? The American lie is what?
All the money and everything. They say, it's all.
I don't think it's America.
That's the way they talk.
No, the Roman Empire came.
How do we understand this Gemara? Okay, we'll talk about it in a moment. But right now, they are.
America זה הטוב שיהיה בעשב. זה אנטונינוס.
Right. Well, Trump is the טוב שיהיה בעשב.
הוא אומר, כל אמריקה זה הטוב שיהיה בעשב, זה אנטונינוס.
So Lamaisa over here.
They get stuck in America.
They're lying to Hashem. Hashem says, "Shoitim sheba'olam, you're fools. Kol masha asisem, letzarech atzmechem asisem. You did it for yourselves. What are you trying to fool me? Rashbi said that. Very good, Shtieble. Rashbi, the end of Brach, right? Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, right? They had a whole debate, and Rabbi Yehuda says no. He praised them. That's what made him Rosh Madabrim. But Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, that's why he had to go into hiding because he criticized the government. They wanted to kill him. Very good, Mo. So here we have. Kadosh Baruch Hu says, "You're fools." By the way, you notice Hashem didn't call them liars. He calls them fools. Very interesting. Risker Rav wants to know, why didn't Hashem call them out? They're liars. They're liars. They're liars. And the teretz is, I'll tell you something. I was in Rome filming. We were doing a big film about Rome, Jewish history in Rome. The menorah. We're releasing it on the 9 days. Incredible. We retraced the steps, the journey of the menorah and the Klei HaMikdash, where it landed, where it came, which port Titus brought it. They built the Temple of Peace. It's an hour-long documentary. You must see it. It's a gift to anybody who sees it.
Right?
Huh?
It's there in the Vatican.
Oh, so that's a big shiur, whether it's in the Vatican or not. That's what the film is coming to discuss.
Did you see it? I remember Rabbi Blau.
Yeah.
Remember Rabbi Blau?
After the Pope showed it to me, I poisoned the Pope. That's why he died afterwards.
You know Rabbi Blau? Remember him?
He saw it?
Yeah, no, well, he memorized the Sefer Shoinim.
Oh yeah, in the Vatican?
No,
The Vatican Library.
Vatican, and he republished it.
They allowed him to go in, remember?
He went to a certain level.
Let him in.
Take anything.
I remember.
No, he memorized.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Right now they're digitizing. The Vatican Library is digitizing all the manuscripts. At least they're saying all the manuscripts. But I'm sure that, it's clear they have secrets. I have on my film that's coming out of Mirz Hashem, God willing, coming a big film about, it's called Hidden Light, the Vatican's most guarded secret. Okay? And we have first-hand testimonials of people who saw the Kalim in the Vatican. It's like an amazing film.
The menorah.
The menorah, yeah. We have in the film, we have first-hand testimonials, detailed. So whatever, we were supposed to have a meeting with the head of the, it's a whole story, you see the film, the head of the Vatican Library, and Archives, and we finally secured, after months of trying, we secured a meeting with him, and we had a list of questions, and the night before we were supposed to meet him, we were in Rome. His secretary reached out. They said, we need to see the questions beforehand, before you film. And we kind of downgraded the questions so they don't get nervous, but still immediately we got a response. They said that it's too sensitive of a topic. The meeting is canceled. Wow. So they canceled the meeting right away. There are so many stories I'm going to tell you. There's for sure secrets. I can't tell you for sure whether they have the menorah or not. But what I really do want to tell you is that there's one bridge in Rome. There's an ancient bridge in Rome itself. Right, it was built over 2,000 years ago. It's the only functioning bridge today from ancient Rome. It's still in use today. Now I'm going to tell you the location of the bridge. You're not going to believe it, and with that I'll tell you the Brisker Rav's pshat. The bridge is located over the Tiber, and it leads from the old Jewish ghetto, where Jews lived for 315 years, locked into a ghetto from the 16th century, right? And it leads to the new Jewish quarter today, where they built the great synagogue, which is the largest synagogue in Italy. Yeah? The most gorgeous synagogue, one of the most beautiful synagogues in the world. It's leading from the old Jewish, listen to this, from the old Jewish ghetto to the new Jewish quarter, directly to the shul. So what the Brisker Rav is saying is that the Romans did not lie. La'asid Lavi, the Romans are going to look back at all their structures and all their monuments, and they're going to say to themselves, wow, in the long run, we realized that we were gone and the Jews stayed. So who ended up using our structures? The bridge that's in 2025 around from 2,000 years ago, it's Jews that walk over it every day to go down. So they're saying, Klum asinu ela b'shvil Yisrael, didn't we do it only for Klal Yisrael? Look at history. So Hashem says, you're not shakranim. You're right. Hashem doesn't call them shakranim. Hashem says, shoitim, you're fools for trying to take rewards for that. You know why? Because you didn't have intention for that. There was no intentionality. So Mamela Hashem says, you're foolish for trying to take schar. Shoitim shavaylam. Kol masha asisem, when you built it, it was l'tzarech atzmcha asisem. Tikantim shvakim loisha ben zoynus. What you wanted to do with these shvakim was to be Moshe zoynus. Mechatzo is the bathhouses la'adam b'hem etzmechem. Kesef dov shalihu. You think your silver and gold is yours? It's mine. Shenemer liya kesef liya zon Hashem tzvokis. Klum yesh bechem agidzoy. Hashem says your only hope is anybody here learn Torah. Did anybody here learn Torah? Hashem says. Shenemer. Mi ben yagidzoy ve'in zoy sal Torah shenemer zoy sal Torah shal Moshe. Zoy is Torah. Miyad yotzu b'bachem nefesh. immediately they're going to run out, embarrassed, humiliated, because nobody will be able to be worthy. Nobody will be worthy of the schar. Yotzas Malchus Rome. So Rome exits, and now v'nichnas Malchus. Could you imagine the audacity? They probably saw. They looked into. They saw that Rome lost the court case. They're coming in afterwards as if they have a better time. Let's see what they say. My time. What's the time that Paras first of all second, right? Why are they going second and not 5th or 10th? Chashiva Basra. Because it's the second most prestigious nation in history. Right after Rome, it's Persia. And Manolan, Paras, right? We're dealing with Paras now. We'll see in a moment. It says in Daniel, the Aruchevo Achri Tinyana Dam Yuladoiv. There's another Chaya that he saw in his vision. And that Chaya was similar to a beer. V'tani Rav Yosef, who's the beer represent? Elu Parsiim Sha'oichlem V'shoisin Kadoiv, that they eat and drink like a beer. I never see it, I never seen it live, but I guess beers, they eat and drink, a lot. Mesurbolen Babasar Kadoiv, and they dress themselves Babasar Kadoiv. I guess they're pleasantly plump to Megadlin Seir Kadoiv, and they let their hair grow like a doiv. Ein la menucha kadoiv, and they never have menucha like a doiv. You ever saw a doiv pace, a beer pace? Back, forth. They don't have menucha like a doiv.
דוב אוכל את הטרף שלו, שהוא עדיין חי. הוא אוכל אותו חי.
What, the doiv, the beer?
הדוב לא, the lion
doesn't first kill it and then takes it back.
Yeah, no, the lion kills, yeah?
Unbelievable.
And then eats. No, but the dove,
Wow.
דוב תופס אותו ככה,
That's
אוכל אותו
unbelievable.
חי.
Yeah. Now the question is...
They have an exceptionally special sense of smell. They're very capable. When I was a kid in camp, and we had a camp in a tent, I left a sandwich in my bunk, and I came back.
It was kosher, that's why. It was kosher sandwich.
The tent was torn, my bag was torn. I was told the bear came and he smelled the sandwich. He tore the tent, he tore the thing.
This is what...
What kind of bear was it? A black or a brown bear?
I did not see, I was told there was a bear.
Now it's interesting you're saying that because...
Grizzly's the worst.
Yeah, the worst. And the worst, no pun. This is because they ask Akasha. Gemara's trying to prove from here that the Paras is the second most prestigious nation. Why? Because Daniel saw Paras as a beer. So the Mefarshim ask, how do you see from this pasuk that it's the second most prestigious Malchus? Right? Just because it appeared as a beer in the vision, why is that put him as the second most prestigious Malchus? So the answer he gives over here, he brings from Rishonim that even though, right, Bavel was Nimshel La'arya, right? There were the 4 Golias. Each Golis was compared to a different animal. And Bavel was a lion. And Bavel is not even first or second. A lion is the melech, right? You think that if you go after the image, the vision of whatever animal appeared that represented that Golis, you would say that the strongest and the melech would be the most prestigious Golis.
Chashivus.
Yeah, Chashivus.
No,
Teretz is, he says...
No Chashivus now. The Teretz is that
Babel,
Ba'acharit Hayamim now is no Chashivus. That's why they didn't mention it first.
Because it doesn't have Chashivus anymore.
There's no Chashivus.
Because right now we still have Malchus.
Now,
Yeah, very good.
Exactly.
Excellent. The other thing is, we don't mention the Aryeh Bavel, he says, because even though the Aryeh is the Melech HaChai, the most dangerous animal is a grizzly, is a bear. More dangerous than a lion. Because a grizzly has more azus to attack. A lion sleeps most of the day. It doesn't, it has a fever, it doesn't, like the Gemara says, like the Gemara in Sanhedrin, it doesn't really, it leaves you, leave it alone, it's not, but a bear, it's mesukin yoiser lebnei adam, than very interesting, than a lion. Even though the lion is melech, because the lion gets agitated, you don't want to be, that's the worst. But the doiv is more mesukin. So
the lion is the king because the female hunts, he gets to relax. Today's different. In the old days, your wife would go to work and you would sit at home and be learning or whatever.
In Lakewood, it's still that way.
The bear is Baal Tachbulot. He's very tricky. The bear is...
Yeah.
He plays like...
It's a horse compared to a bear.
He can play like this suddenly attacks, he's not...
Yeah. What's the best advice? Because I once put out a video with a beer.
Play dead.
Effie
Play
Eitam.
dead.
You stand your ground. You watch that? Yeah, I love
Stand your
it.
ground.
Love it.
No, you don't play dead.
Huh?
He'll eat you. You stand your ground.
Stand your ground.
Yeah,
Don't back off.
You talk soft. This way, I think the logic is that the beer won't confuse you as
food.
as food if it sees that you're not acting like an animal. An animal would usually run, but if you stand your ground and you talk, then Einod Milvadoi, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Just in case it was your last words.
Whistle. You're supposed to blow. There's loud whistles. There's things.
Yeah.
There's like loud sprays.
Oh, those sprays. Yeah, those sprays are. Yeah, they give you beer spray.
Yeah, and they get agitated.
I have a friend who just was in Muncie right now, Shai Stern, a close friend of mine. He said to me that he came out of.
You want to live here, Shyster?
No,
You wanna live there,
he
yeah.
used to live there.
Yeah,
He used to live there. He's in Muncie. He told me the other week. He said he went to daven Shabbos morning. He stayed in shul a little longer, and I guess he was the last one to leave. And he left from a side door, and there's a big ramp, like from that side door, from the back, the ramp. You go down the ramp, and then you get to the road. So he gets out of the door in the side door. He starts walking down the ramp, and he sees a bear is coming, like literally like a bear. There are bears in Muncie. So like my sister lives in Muncie, she sees bears all the time. The bears, and it's like he sees a bear coming, like walking toward the ramp. So he starts inching back to get back to the door, and he's trying to open the door, and it's locked. And he doesn't want to knock too loud, but he's knocking. He knows nobody's in the building. He was the last guy to leave. So he's standing trapped on a ramp, literally on a ramp with a locked door, and all he could do is say, Einod Milvadoi. That's all he could do. It lasted for a couple of minutes. The bear is looking, look at, and it walked away. But the sheer fear of a bear, right? So that's what they're saying. It's mesukan biyoter. A bear is most good. Not sure if a black bear, it could be a grizzly. Black bear is a little bit better. But anyway, either way.
Yeah, I know some. I grew up in like we have a house
You want to
in
see a
Berkshires,
great
and we
clip?
live
I
there
don't know
too.
if you watch it.
Okay.
The Revenant. It's a movie by Leonardo DiCaprio. But he's in the forest by himself, but he gets attacked by a bear.
Okay.
And you watch how the bear throws and flings it.
Yeah.
It's very real.
Yeah.
You see
Yeah,
him
yeah.
scratched up, and the bear crushes. I mean,
You watching movies?
No, this is just one clip because I was doing a documentary on the grizzly bears for the LA Zoo, and I had to watch it. But Mama shares the guy probably completely
Wow.
paralyzed by the time it's done.
Wow.
But you see how the bear actually
Watching
acts.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
realistic.
Yeah, it's crazy. Wow. They have footage. Right? So you did a documentary on bears. You did?
He's afraid of me. That's why.
They have. No, so they have actually real footage of bears,
clips.
of bears fighting with each other.
You can watch. How do you call this? You know.
It's a very realistic
There's a name of this.
portrayal.
You know that you can watch with the animals. No.
What is this?
I don't know.
Yeah. I know.
There is
So I'm saying
programs on
it's a
animals.
realistic portrayal.
And we can
of
go
a
to
bear
downtown
attacking
LA.
a
You
human
can see
being.
animals there too. Omelam HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
You mean in Los Angeles?
Downtown
Oh,
LA.
that's a brio.
Go look at the
brio-
protests and the riots. You see a bunch of animals
This
there
is
running around.
Brios Mishunas.
Brios Mishunas.
Monkeys and gorillas.
Monkeys and gorillas. Omelam HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is going to be banned on YouTube. Omelam HaKadosh Baruch Hu. B'maya saktem. Hashem is going to say, what did you know? Be'ezeh zchut. What zchus are you coming to take? Schar. Omelam Fanav Rabbeinu Shalom. Harbe Gesharim Gesharnu. Yeah, it sounds like a similar echoing whatever the Romans said. Harbe Krachem Kavashnu. Harbe Milchamas Asinu. V'chulam lo yisinu. Elo b'shvili Yisrael. They ask about all of a sudden they were the ones who took care of it. Omelam HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Mesh asisem lo tzech atzucha asisem tikantek mesharim lot mamechas. The reason why I built bridges is to collect taxes. Krachem las b'mangaria. Even these little towns, the cities, also to be able to get people to work for the Melech. Milchamos, Aniu Sisi. All the wars that you waged and you won, I won it. Shenemer Hashem ish Milchamo. Bottom line is, Klum yesh bechem magid zois. Anyone here learned Torah? Yes, Shenemer mi behem yagid zois ve'ezos el Torah shnever zois Tashem Moshe. And nobody will be able to raise their hand and come forward and say they learned Torah. Miyad yotzu milfanav b'pachin nefesh. They're right away going to leave with tremendous.
That's why I think that America let us study Torah here. So
That's their schus.
That's
their schus.
That's Antonino.
You know what? It's very interesting
That's
you say that.
That's what Antonino, because Europe did not let us. They tortured us.
Very interesting you say
Mach
that.
Shima, they tortured, but here, it's like
Very interesting.
it's mamash Antoninos.
Yeah.
Antoninos understood that the Rabbi Avot Zair.
Yeah.
He chap the bracha that Yitzchak gave Yaakov.
Right.
The Rabbi Avot Zair.
You know, when I was in the
He
Vatican-
implemented it.
You know, as in the Vatican, we know exactly what Antoninas looked like. You know that? They have a statue.
Really?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
What
You see,
the hell?
they have a statue in the Vatican has hundreds of statues, that busts and sculptures that are 2,000 years old. Because in Rome, any emperor, right, anyone who came to power became sort of a godlike figure, became Avodah Zarah. And they would sculpt statues and place them in every important, just like now, you go to the post office, you have a picture of the president, right? You have a picture of, so they would have, like in the Colosseum, they'd have the statues of whoever the emperor was. And they believed that in order for the statue to have special powers, it had to be carved out exactly like the person, like the emperor looked like. So we know exactly what Titus of Russia looked like, what Vespasian looked like. We know exactly what Antoninus looked like. It's fascinating. And Antoninus, by the way, you'll see it in the film. I put it in the film also. You look at this different statues, and you look at the Rishoyim, Aspasionas or Titus, right? He destroyed the second Beis Hamikdash. You could see on their faces, they're Rishoyim. You could see it. Antoninus, he's the only emperor, that looks wise. Like a beard, like the wisdom, like you could see it. And it looks like him because it had to be sculpted exactly. So, it's interesting you mentioned Antoninus, but Rav Yavitzor, you have to know that America, maybe could be that's the same idea. America, because they have the biggest institutions.
Rabbi Kessin said that. Rabbi Kessin said that America.
I love it.
It's not. It's
very,
not,
very, very possible.
America's a melting pot.
And that's why Israel has to allow the Bnei Torah to sit and learn. You have to allow the Bnei Torah to learn. That's the schus. We're just as important as the frontliners. My time, I asked the Gemara the question we had earlier. If the Persians saw that the Romans, it didn't help whatever they said, pretty much they echoed the same taina. So why are they walking in afterwards? Amri says the Gemara, the Persians set themselves in Usasri, Beis Hamikdash. They destroyed the Beis Hamikdash. So they have that against them, right? They're on the blacklist. V'anan baninan, but we have Koresh. Koresh was the one, he was Paras, Melech Paras. He was the one who rebuilt it. So Mamela, we have that schus, so maybe in that schus we'll find favor in Hashem's eyes, we'll be able to collect the reward. And each ummah thought that they are worthy in a different way because of whatever they did to help Klal Yisrael. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not going to accept their tainas. So why did the rest of the ummahs enter the chamber of Hashem, so to speak, to try to collect reward if they saw that the first two, Rome and Persia, couldn't do it? Savri Hanech Shtabud B'Yisrael. They had Klal Yisrael meshubed. They subjugated Klal Yisrael. Vanan lo shibadno b'Yisrael. We didn't do that. Why didn't we mention the other nations that came, like Bovel and Yovan, the Greeks, right? Why do we mention also their interaction with God? Why is the Gemara only mentioning Rome and Persia? Mamish right now, because Persia still has a Malchus until Mashiach comes. You see right now, what's Persia? Iran?
Yeah, Iran.
Iran. Mamish, okay. So it's it's the topic of today. And you see also Rome. Rome is also Mashchib. Rome is Edom, right? Edom is, we're in Golas Edom right now, right? We're in Golas Yishmael, which is, I'm not sure if Yishmael is Paras. Is Yishmael?
No, Yishmael is Yishmael.
Yishmael is a different berry, right?
Yishmael is Per Adam.
Ah, Per Adam, okay. So Iran is Persia, Iran is Yishmael, not sure.
No, Iran is Persia. Iran is Persia.
The Gemara says, Mashchib Malchasayu ad Asa Mashiach. So Oimrim Lefonov, the Goyim will say, Riboyne Shaloilam, Klum Nasata Lonu V'Loike Balnua. They're going to tie it back. They're going to say, didn't you try? You didn't even try to give us the Torah. Right? If you would have given it to us, maybe we would have accepted it. So Gemara asks, whoa, 1 second. Could they really tie it like that? Vaksiv, it says in the Pasuk, my boy B'Seir, my boy B'Paran. What is he doing in Seir and in Paran? Right? The Psukkah mentioned Hashem came to Seir, the Kodesh Ma'ar Paran. What's he doing in all these different countries? Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Malamit Shachzira Kodesh Baruch Hu Kol Uma V'Loshen V'Lo Kibluah Shabbos L'Srav Kibluah. So how could the nations of the world say that you never offered us the Torah? Had you offered us the Torah, we would have been accepting it. It says over here that Hashem did offer the Torah to the other nations, and they refused, they rejected it. Yeah, in other words, you're right, you offered it to us, we didn't accept it. But had we accepted it, we would have kept it. Right? But this taina itself is no good. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to say, okay, you know what, I don't live in the what ifs. I live in the practical. Yeah? I'm not going to say, what if you would have accepted and you would have kept it, right? I'm not doing that. You might say you rejected it, so therefore you don't deserve schar. Elokach oim lefonov.
The
Gemara
human
says,
says here, you know, it's much kasher here.
yeah,
וכי מאחר דחזית מלכות פרס למלכות רומי דלה מאן יעלה מידי.
yes.
מה הייתה מעלה? למה, you saying the same Thanos? You saw already.
Yeah, you saw that didn't work.
Threw them
Correct.
out because of this Thanos. You can't
Correct.
say the same Thanos. What they thought that they're gonna this.
Yeah.
I tell you what they thought. Because they allowed the Bniyas HaMikdash. They thought
That's the Gemara saying, right? They allowed.
Mikdash is like
Yeah.
Oro Shel Olam.
Right,
They
right.
thought that
Yeah, the question is, they ask, why didn't they taka say, we built the Beis HaMikdash? Why do they have to say we built marketplaces and bathhouses? Let them get to the actual, prize. Let them come to Hashem and say, we built the Beis HaMikdash. Yeah?
They thought
Teretz is,
that the reason that Kadosh Baruch Hu kicked him out is because the Roman Malchut Edom destroyed Beit HaMikdash.
right.
And they built it.
So the Tosfos says the reason why they didn't say right away the Beis HaMikdash because they couldn't say it because Hashem was asking Persia as a empire throughout history. Hashem wanted to know as a whole. Kairos was only one generation that rebuilt the Beis HaMikdash, so they couldn't have come to the Rebbeinu Shalom with that limud zchus on them.
Maybe they would be afraid that they would say that Darius was from Esther.
So maybe it wasn't really from them, it was from
Because he had yichus.
Zeh Shem. It wasn't really a Persian. It was a mixed marriage. Now, I just want to end with this Tosfos, unbelievable Tosfos, because Mamish, if you say, like you said, Iran is Poras, so Tosfos asks Kasha. The Gemara only mentions the conversations that Rome, which is Golas Edom, and Poras had with Hashem, but it doesn't mention any other Ummah. Bavel, Yovan is all not mentioned over here. So Tosfos, the Gemara asks, why Takanat? Why is only Rome and Persia mentioned here? Gemara says, because Mashcha Malchusayu ad Asa Mashiach. Because their Malchus will extend until Mashiach comes. Asks Tosfos, we learned to Sanhedrin, a steer in a Gemara. Gemara Sanhedrin says, Asida Paras Shtieble b'yad Romi. That Persia is going to fall in the hands of Edom. That's before Mashiach comes.
Yeah.
Says Tosfos, it's right before Mashiach comes. It's going to be a war with Persia and Edom, which we're mamish living right now.
Trump's gonna bomb them.
Trump is going to get involved. Tosfos says, Asida Para Shtieble b'yad Romi.
What is the kasha?
Mamish somach lebias Mashiach, which is right now.
Rav Kesher said it's a kasha. You hear me?
Huh?
Rav Kesher said it's a big kasha because
Yeah.
Edom destroyed Beit HaMikdash and Paras built the Mikdash.
How could Edom destroy Paras?
How come יפלו בידי של... צריכים אלה שיפלו בידי של אלה?
יפה מאוד.
נו, אז הוא אומר...
שאלה יפה.
אז הוא אומר, באחרית הימים, אומר הרב קסם, כי זה סתום. בגמרא פה זה סתום, אי אפשר להבין את זה. כי תסתכל כאן בגמרא, הוא אומר, זהו, ככה, זהו, סגור. ככה הקדוש ברוך הוא רצה שיהיה. למה? כי הרב קסם אומר שאנטונינוס סלל את הדרך. Antoninus Vadim,
he corrected it.
He saved Edom for אחרית הימים. ורבי יעבוד צדיק, because the Torah שבעל פה that we have to see today in America, the Torah שבעל פה in America is because Antoninus understood to allow Rabbi to write the Mishnah, to write the oral Torah.
Okay.
That's the chidush of the Rav Kessler.
That's unbelievable. Yeah. Rav Kessler is very original.
And this Gemara, it's atum. It's
very nice. Okay, we'll end over here. Shekoy Chevra. We'll continue tomorrow. Okay, yeah.
You look at it.